Hi, guys. It's Maya Haradad here, business coach and speaker, and I want to help you create a sales process, assuming that you are a busy entrepreneur or a busy side hustler. So maybe you're feeling in this position. You are totally excited about what you do in your business, but each sale that you get in your business, you kind of feel like, am I winging this? Am I trying to recreate the wheel with each new sale? Because there should be a simpler way of how to be able to do this. So I want to share with you 4 easy tips today and highlight that, yeah, there is a simpler way of being able to do it, but it's going to take you putting a bit of a process together to be able to help you to get started. So before we dive in, I do want to talk a little bit about some sales shame, we'll describe it as. I want to make sure that you understand this. If you are watching this video today, I think that you are an amazing rock star at what you do. And here's why that matters and that's important. Because I don't want you looking at other people out there and what they're doing and how they're earning their money or how they're working to really increase growth in their company and comparing yourself to them. All right. So we're going to take this whole thing out of the conversation. I'm here and you're not. And we're really going to take a step back and look at what your business is doing that is amazing, that does put you at the next level, and how you can grow your business even further. So let's dive in. I'm going to highlight 4 steps to this process. The first one is, what are your mental blocks around sales? Second, we're going to start with what's working and how to be able to analyze and be able to measure that. Then we're going to look at some options of what you can dive into. And then the 4th step is how you can take action. Now, for those of you that are lucky enough to watch this during the week that I'm launching this video, if you write down the responses to these 4 steps and you email them back to me in the designated time frame that I share, I will give you a personal response on what you come up with. Why? Because I want you to help be able to earn more money in your business. And let's simplify this. Let's create sales processes and let's create opportunities for you in your business so you are not recreating the wheel every single time that you earn a new sale. So let's dive in. The first one that I want to dive in is your mental blocks around selling. Now, this one may seem kind of like, okay, Maya, let's get to the tactics. What are the tips? What are the tools that I need to buy? But I want you to press pause for a minute because this one is a critical one. If you do not have a CEO mindset about sales, you are not going to be able to grow your company. And here's what I mean by that. What is the story that you are telling yourself about sales? And not the story when you're watching a video like this, because now you're all tuned in and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this happen. No, I mean, Monday morning when you get started with your work, or if you're a side hustler, for example, if you start in the evenings and you actually look at the list of things that you have to do, what is the conversation that you are having in your head around sales? Be honest with yourself. Start listening to the conversations that you're having, because I'm betting that if you take a moment and really listen to the words that you're telling yourself about sales, it's hard, I suck, it feels icky, people who sell are this. And listen honestly. Again, it's not saying that you don't want to earn money for your company, but what do you think about sales? If you start to examine those root beliefs, I'm betting that you will start to create a very powerful CEO mindset that is going to transform your sales. So don't neglect this simple step. All right, step number 1. I want you to write down this week one thing that you say to yourself negatively about sales. Now, brownie points, you can also write down the things that you say positively, but I'm betting that's not what's stopping you from selling. If you start thinking about the negative associations you have towards sales, I'm betting we can start getting at some root patterns that we can work to be able to shift. All right, so now for step number 2, here's something that should make your heart sing, okay? Instead of always looking at the things that are not working, what is working? Yes, what is making you smile? What is bringing money into your company? Let's start measuring that. So here are some of the things that I want you to start thinking about. Do you know in the last month how many new qualified leads that you brought into your business? In other words, on average, how many new prospects or new potential customers come to you each month? You know what? Even if it's 0, to be honest, I think if you start measuring what you are bringing in. So some months it may be a point 0.5, for example. Other months it may be 2. Start measuring the number of leads that are coming into your business and seeing what the pattern is. Okay, now here's one you can also definitely win at is how long is your sales cycle? If you take a moment and step back and think, how long does it normally take for your customers between when they first meet you and learn about what you do, and then when they actually say yes to being able to do business with you? That one is a very important one to measure because it's going to give you a sense of how long you need to spend actually building a relationship, getting to know people, and what you can do to ideally make that time frame a little bit shorter. Here's another good one to measure for the wins. How many proposals did you write? Okay, and here's what I mean by that. For those of us that are service-based business, you often have to write something up for a person if they want to do business with you. They want to know what is the specific customer agreement that they're signing for. If you deal with larger types of contracts, they may want a full proposal of something customized to their business. Well, you may not have won all of them, right? But tell me, how many did you write? I'm sure that this past month or even over this past quarter, you have written a number of them. Go ahead and start measuring that number. Write that down. And then we have 3 additional ones that I want you to start thinking about wins that you've had. How many hot business cards have you landed? How many times have you gone to an event or had someone refer you? I know you have. Start measuring that. Put a number down towards it. How many first client meetings have you taken? Again, you didn't necessarily get the sale, but how many can you measure that you've taken? And then also, how many brand new cold leads have you had? In other words, someone knew nothing about your business, but heard about what you were offering and said, hey, I think I might be interested. Now, what's key about this is I'm not asking you to measure how much money you made. What we are starting to track, though, is what's happening that brings people into your business and where are you getting the wins from? Because if we start to examine that and put numbers behind that and measure how you got them, where you got them, when you got them, guess what? Then you start creating a sales process that you can duplicate and stop recreating the wheel. Okay, so action steps. I want you to list 2 things about your sales that are working. And I'm going to open this wide up right now. You can totally take the first 2 things that come off the top of your head. And in some ways, I think that's almost better. Like when you think about sales right now, what is working for your business? Or you can refer back to the list here. If there was something that stood out when I went over the list, go for it. Write that down because you kind of, dust your shoulder off a little bit like, yeah, Maya, I'm totally nailing that. That's happening. That's coming to pass. That's pretty awesome. And I celebrate you regardless of the fact that I know you want to earn more in your business. Let's start celebrating those wins. Okay. So action step number 2, go ahead and list 2 things that are working around the sales in your business. All right. Now, for those of you who are saying, all right, Maya, I need you to get to the meat. Like all of this stuff is good, but like, what am I actually missing? I got you. I've got here the overall framework for what a traditional sales process is. But I needed you to understand first that in order to look at the sales process, getting this information is not going to help your business if you do not start laying some foundation work first. So what I mean by this is it's really easy to go out to an event, or it's really easy to go to a conference or a seminar and a workshop and learn, here's how you make $100,000 in sales in 30 days, or here's how you get, 60 gazillion followers on social media. And we get all of these tips, get totally overwhelmed, and then never follow through on them. A lot of times, I think it's not that we're overwhelmed. I think that people are giving us a framework that works for their business, and we don't have a way to customize it for our business, okay? So before you get totally caught up in the traditional sales process, and I am going to walk you through it, I just did want to let you know, start first by identifying the things that you do well. What is your mental mindset about sales? What are the wins you are having about sales? And then we can actually put a more traditional sales process in place because you've been honest and open about what those things are. All right. So step number 3 is I'm going to go to the answer. What is one thing that you need to improve around sales? Now, I want to be very clear to highlight this. The important thing about creating your sales process is do not try to do everything at once, okay? So I know that if I give you this full sales process, you are going to want to dive into everything all at one time. Trust me, I do the same thing. But I don't want you to do that, okay? I want you to listen to the entire process. Look at the one area that you think you could start with first, okay? And to be honest with you, pick the lowest hanging fruit. Pick the one that you think is going to be the easiest. Let's create some numbers around that. And then once that's mastered, then we'll dive into the other parts of the process, okay? So let me share with you a traditional sales process. A traditional sales process, and this works whether you are selling a physical product that someone can see, or whether you're selling a service, which is where you trade your time for someone paying you for services. So, if you're a graphic designer, if you're a writer, if you're any type of creative, for example, a virtual assistant, you would fall under the services category. Okay, so this goes across the board for everybody. The steps are, first you make an initial contact, i.e. you're at a networking event and you meet someone and you exchange business cards. The second step is rapport building. And this is a step, and I'm going to highlight this in a minute, that I think small business have a major opportunity to rock, because you get the chance to build a really deep relationship with the people that you initially meet. The third step is a needs discovery. Now, sometimes this happens very quickly. A person might see an item at an event that you're at and say, oh, I need this item. So you don't really have to go into depth much. But a lot of times for businesses that have a much bigger amount that you're going to spend, you got to make sure that your service, or even your product for that matter, fits the needs of the customer. So you ask questions about problems they're having, needs they need to be solved, and you find a way to align what you're offering to those particular concerns that they have. The next part is you offer the solution. Now, typically, if you've done the rapport building well, and if you've done the needs discovery well, offering the solution is actually not that hard. But a lot of times businesses like to skip straight to the solution part and miss all of these other steps. So I'm going to encourage you to take a look right now at the first three steps: the initial contact, the rapport building, and the needs discovery, and make sure that you have some things in place to really help you build those areas out really well, okay? The next step is you learn how to handle objections and the close. And objections are actually a good thing, because objections could be as simple as, no, I don't want it ever, which one never knows. They may change their mind regardless. Or it could be that they're giving you more information about what they really need, and you just need to resolve whatever that thing is. And then finally, with the close, you've got to actually ask for the sale. You want to make sure that you let them know that you're interested in doing business for them. So you put some time frames around, you put some ways of being able to get them to say yes within a certain time frame, not pressuring them, but also letting them know that you're serious about being able to work with them. And then the final step, and this one I think is also another great place for small businesses to really rock out, is the follow-up. How well do you follow up with people after they've done business with you and let them know, hey, I'm still out here. If you got another problem to solve, I am the person for you. All right. So those are the 6 steps that exist in the traditional sales process. I wanted to give you all of them, but this is key. Pick one, not all of them, okay? Just one that you want to work on for right now. I wanted to give you the full amount of information, but if you are a busy salesperson, you do not have time to work on all of them at the same time, okay? So one is all you're going to take for right now, and then I'm going to show you what information that you want to include around that. Now, I did want to give a bonus for those of you that are here on this particular video and watching. I think personally that one of the areas that small business have a major opportunity is the rapport building stage. So here's the deal. A lot of times, especially for service-based businesses, we get a really hot business card. We get someone that says, yeah, I want to work with you. I want to hire you because I need to get this thing done, blah, blah, blah. And we are like, bring in the money. And then it goes cold. And you're like, crap, what the heck happened? So here's what I'm going to recommend. One of the things that you really want to look at within your sales that you're doing overall, and this, by the way, for those of you that are interested in building sales funnels, if you start this step right here, when it's time to actually launch your sales funnels, I promise you, it is not going to be as hard as it is if you don't focus on this step, okay? So for those of you that are really serious about automating your sales, you've got to start building this particular process out from day one. So rapport building, I give you 4 examples of things that you can do to build a relationship. And I want to give an example that happened recently of how you want to think about these examples. So one of the students in one of my training classes that I'm doing right now for entrepreneurs came back to me recently and was a little frustrated. She has worked in her industry for a number of years. She's got a number of certifications, and she's a little frustrated because when she's talking to people, they keep asking her for a website. And when she and I started talking, we're both clear they don't really care about the website. They just don't think she can actually deliver the services that she says she's going to deliver, even though she's literally got certifications proving that she can. So what I recommended for her to do is to take a step back and instead of being frustrated by those requests, realize it's an opportunity to build relationship, right? And it's hard, don't get me wrong, because you can take it really personal. But instead I said, you know, there may be some people that won't buy, but let's think of it this way instead. What if on a regular basis, you reached out to them via email, you reached out to them via phone, heck, send a snail mail letter. Nobody does that anymore, and say hello, touch base with them, see how they're doing. We've got the holidays that are coming up. Don't pick the holidays that everyone always picks. Why not send an off card, a Mother's Day card, or a birthday card, or a Halloween card? Pick something different that makes you stand out and let them know you are thinking about them. I also recommend that you create a process whenever you have any PR. You might get an amazing testimonial back from a client, right? Or you might actually get in the news, right? Like that's always exciting. You get invited to speak at an event or you're in the news. Have a process in place so that when it happens, because it never happens where you have enough time, that you can easily hit a button and you can email all of your people, you can text all of your people and just say hi, right? Like you're not actually selling to them, but you're letting them know, you know what? My business got recognized. You may want to work with me. Okay. And here's a third one that's an even savvier one to build rapport. Listen, when you're trying to find out what really matters to your people, one of the best ways is to look at what are they talking about? What are they frustrated by? What are they saying out here in the world? Pay attention to what they're doing on social media, right? Comment on some of their posts, like some of their posts, share it, get engaged with them that you're building a sense of a relationship and community with them. I will tell you firsthand, that one right there within itself is really powerful. Does it take time? Without hesitation. Will you have to invest some energy into it? Most definitely. But if you do these things of rapport building, what happens is over time, people not only will remember you, they'll remember the name of your company. I mean, ironically, with that person I was telling you about earlier, I actually referred her to a company that has a similar type of service as hers and does an amazing job of rapport building. And I told her point blank, the reason I can name this company, because there's 600 others that do the same thing, is they continually build a relationship with me. They're always providing educational articles. They're giving me stories about things that go on. They have a full content marketing strategy. And I highly recommend, don't get overwhelmed with this as a small business owner, but really find ways to build rapport with your people. Okay. So I want you to look at what is one step that you need to improve. Okay. So pick one of these parts of the traditional sales process, pick one, pick a date by when you want to improve it, and then pick a very specific measurable action that we can tell, did you do it or did you not do it? Okay. So a quick example for the rapport building one is, did you actually get 50 people of the people that you have reached out to in the past, whatever? Did you collect them in some way, shape, or form where you can now easily text them or you can easily email them? Of course, we don't want spam, right? To be able to stay in touch with them and build the rapport and build the relationship. Okay. So pick one that you want to work on, one that you want to improve, and then be very specific. Give me the date by when you're going to have your success, and then also tell me what you're going to do, what action steps you're going to take in order to demonstrate these things, okay? All right, so now we're gonna dive into the fourth part. And so this part I wanted to highlight because I think for a lot of people, they don't step back and recognize what makes sales so darn complicated for them. And I'm gonna tell you what it is. It is not that you don't know how to sell, all right? Because if you look at a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old, in any family these days, they know how to sell. They get their way, do they not? Okay, so you came onto this planet knowing how to sell. That ain't the problem. The problem very often is that we have so many ways that you can be selling, and hence it becomes overwhelming. Okay, so you're meeting people at networking events, or you're going to conferences, you're having your website and you have a landing page that's up, and you have all these individual pages on your blog, your contact us form. People pass your business cards along, and so you have people emailing you through those channels and every other marketing channel that you've promoted your business on. So here's what I'm going to recommend for your next steps around how you're going to improve your sales process. Okay, pick one marketing channel. This is not to say, of course, that you don't have multiple ways of how you sell your products and services. But I want you to pick the one where, to be frank, you get most of your people. If you get most of your people meeting them at events or word of mouth, don't stress out on your website right now, okay? Is it going to be a perfect process on your website? No. It might take you 20 days, 30 days to get back to people. It is what it is, to be honest with you. But I would start first with one marketing channel and create the 6 steps that we listed earlier and the processes that are going to take the person from an initial interest into an actual sale. So pick one of these channels, okay? And so I'll leave this back up here again for you, where I want you to tell me, are you going to focus on your in-person sales process? Are you going to focus on your website sales process? Some of you may have other marketing channels like your email list, or you may have other channels like referral networks, or there may be different business associations or groups where you get a lot of your business from. I don't care, to be honest with you, which one you pick. I don't think it matters. I would just say pick the one where you tend to get most of your clients right here, right now, and focus on that specific channel for the next 90 days. And then you could do some more after you've had some results with that first channel, okay? So if you think about it, being able to pick one marketing channel and being able to step back and pick one step that you need to improve, these are your action steps, my friends. Now, are there a ton of more things that you want to learn in sales? And yes, I just said a ton of more things. Of course there are, most definitely. But I promise you, if you start out with these 4 action steps, write down one thing that you say negatively to yourself about sales. And again, be honest. This is what you personally think about sales. It's your honest opinion about it. And I tell you that when you actually hear it in your head, right? Like, I can't get into your head, but if you hear it in your head and you write it down on a sheet of paper, I promise you that's where you get the opportunity to decide how and which way you want to shift things. And to be frank, even if you don't want to, you have a sense of ownership about how you feel about things. And that's going to lead you into that CEO mindset. All right. The next thing is we're celebrating your wins. What are 2 things that are working? Woohoo. Write them down, because you have to start your process customizing it with what is working. The third step is what is one step that you need to improve on. And I gave you the 6 steps in the traditional sales process. But if there's something else that you want to highlight, go for it. If there's something else that you think that is where you need to start at, go for it. Keep it simple though, guys. All right. That's the key thing I want you to do. Is this is not something where you're doing an entire sales funnel for your brand new webinar. Okay. Like, if you have already the steps in motion, where you have the CRM behind the scenes, you have the webinar platform, you have someone that's supporting you with copy, then you could do all those types of things, right? But if you haven't done that, if you need to build those stages up, then start with one small step that you can take for 90 days and work on that step. Give me a date, and then also give me what the action step is. And then the last one is, what is your one marketing channel? All right. Now, for those of you that are like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm going to give you a bonus one. Get an accountability buddy, guys. In the sales world, one of the ways that salespeople know that they earn more money is when they have to be accountable. Whether it's one person that you talk to and share your goals, whether it's someone like me who's a coach who can just kind of give you those gentle nudges, give you some rah-rah when it doesn't work out, or whether it's a friend who also has a business, pick one other person that you want to be accountable to share these goals. Because you know what? When we talk about our goals to other people, you are much more likely to actually achieve them than if you try to do it on your own. And for your final step, oops, I guess this did not show up properly, but for your final step, send your email responses to me at info@mayaharidad.com or at hashtag #mharidat via Instagram. I will be happy to look them over for you and offer any insights or any added tools that can help you make this even easier. And also welcome your questions. If you have questions after watching this session and you're like, oh my God, this was too much, or I'm not quite sure of what to do next, go for it. Ask me those questions, as I'll be more than happy to get back to you shortly. So here's to all of your upcoming sales wins, guys, and happy, happy cash flow. Have an amazing one.